Yep. Well, I think that, I was really proud of the way our players played and competed in this last game at Arkansas. I think there's some lessons to be learned in the game, as always. When we did things correctly, whether it was fundamental technique or whatever, we had success. In times that we didn't sort of do those things, the little things, attention to detail type things correctly, it led to less success. So I think that's something that we all need to learn from. Devontae, great that he's special teams player of the week in the SEC, and Alex, offensive lineman of the week. I think those guys have played extremely well for us all year, and we're always, happy when those guys get positive reinforcement and self-gratification for their efforts. Obviously, the SEC championship game is, a great competitive venue. Really an honor to be playing in this game. I think it's a tribute to our team and the success that they've sort of had throughout the season to accomplish what they have, to give themselves an opportunity, to play a really, really good Florida team. This team is as explosive as anyone in the country on offense. They've got really good skilled players, really good quarterback, good balance on offense. Dan does a great job in terms of calling plays, formations, adjustments. A lot of similarities to sort of, LSU style of play last year in terms of the kind of mismatched players that they have. And they've done a good job of utilizing all their talents in a very positive way. It's going to be a challenge for us defensively to be able to match up and really execute fundamentally like we need to have a chance to, have success against these guys. And, their defense is very, very athletic, make a lot of negative plays, got some good pass rushers. They mix it up in the back end pretty good, got some good pressures. So it'll be a challenge for us offensively. And I think, a great week of preparation is always important when you play a team like this. This is not a common opponent for us. So some of the things that they do will be a little bit unfamiliar to, our players. And a great week of preparation is certainly, necessary to overcome some of those things. These guys are talented on special teams. Tony's a good returner. And so, we have challenges in every phase of the game in this game this week.
Okay, we'll start with Brett Hudson.
Yeah, Coach, how has Jalen Moody developed over the last year or so to put himself in a position to be the guy that came in for Christian?
Well, he did a really nice job in the game last week, and I think he got more and more confidence as the game wore on, as he got a feel for the game and what they were doing. And I was really pleased with his production. His effort has always been great, and played very well. Did a nice job of filling in, when Christian got hurt, really the first defensive play of the game. So we were really pleased with that.
We'll go to Michael Casagrande.
You guys lead the nation in third down offense. What kind of attributes lead to a team being so successful in that moment?
Well, I think it goes back to the fundamental execution, whatever the play is called, the routes that are run, the quarterback reads, the offensive line picking up protection, blitzes, whatever. I think it's a combination of all those things that come down to fundamental execution. Receivers getting open, quarterback making accurate throws, reading the right things. And I think we've done a really good job from a coaching staff standpoint, Sark and the offensive coaches, of, having a good plan for third down in terms of what do they do, how can we sort of know what they're in, get a little pre-snap read and be able to get, adjust the routes to be able to beat it.
We'll go to John Zener with the AP.
Yeah, Coach, probably nobody knows better than you how hard it is to go undefeated through a season in the SEC and in general. Even no matter how great your team is that 2009 team, is that a team that you kind of point to as maybe a standard for teams to strive for consistency and everything?
Well, that's the only team that has went undefeated, through the entire season and the playoffs. So I guess their accomplishment becomes the standard. They were a great team, had great leadership. Guys really bought into doing, things they needed to do to stay consistent and be successful, never got complacent. And I think it's a good, sort of a teaching tool that we can use from, what that team had, that what it takes, to be able to sustain the season and play against great opponents and play with consistency in performance start to finish.
We'll go to Dennis Dodd.
Nick, because you have been so dominant this year, how does this team compare to that 09 team, just in terms of what you've done so far?
Well, it's tough to make comparisons. I can't remember what I was doing in 2009, but I do have a lot of respect for that team and what they accomplished. And, I think, how you finish is really the most important thing in terms of your legacy as a team. So it's not really what we've done to this point, although we're all proud and appreciate the fact that the players have done a great job. It's how do you finish? What you got to look forward, not backward. We've got a big challenge in this game, and if we can have success, maybe we'll have some other big challenges in the future. So I think how you finish really goes a long ways to determining what your legacy is as a team.
We'll go to Cecil Hurt.
Hello, Coach. I don't know if we've had a chance to ask you about Butch Jones. First of all, will his departure affect your preparation in any way this week? And second of all, just what do you anticipate he'll be able to do at Arkansas State?
Well, Butch has done a phenomenal job here for us in the several years that he's been here. He's very well liked by the players, really well organized, has been very helpful to me personally. He's going to stay involved to whatever degree that he can. So we're extremely pleased and happy for him and his family to get this opportunity. I think it's a good job and something certainly he's worked a long time to try to get another opportunity to be a head coach. So we're extremely pleased and happy that this thing worked out for him the way that it did. And, Butch is so professional about everything that he does. It hasn't affected our preparation to this point. I don't think he'd ever allow that to happen. And I think he'll contribute whatever way that he can.
Charlie Potter.
Yeah, Coach, just want to ask you about Saturday. And after you guys got the win, the guys that were earning degrees were able to walk at Coleman and, graduate. Just how nice was that to see those guys get that honor?
Well, we're always pleased and proud of our guys when they graduate. I mean, you've heard me say this many times before. It's why you go to college. You're preparing yourself for the day you can't play football. And certainly this was a great example when we have guys that graduate. It meant something to those guys to be able to walk. They were going to be a little disappointed when they heard we were playing, and they might not be able to. So having an early game allowed them to do that. And I was very pleased and happy, we all were, that they had the opportunity to do that. I think it means a lot to them and their family, and certainly means a lot to us. And we're very, very proud of each and every one of those guys. And we're proud of all the guys that have graduated. We've had, tremendous success here in terms of graduation rate and how our guys have done academically, which is, obviously, contributed to by a great academic support team and, the university community as a whole, giving us the information that we need so we can help our players so they can graduate.
Got time for a couple more here. We'll start Jeff Spiegel. Jeff?
Yeah, hi, Nick. When a team like Florida has a regular season like they had, and then they lose their last game of the regular season like they did, do you think that makes them a more dangerous football team, considering they come in with a big chip on their shoulder?
Well, I'm sure that they have a lot of pride in their performance, and I'm sure that they'll want to come out and prove that they're a very, very good team, and we expect them to play their best against us, like a lot of teams do, and they certainly have a very talented team, and they're certainly capable of beating anybody in the country. And I think it was maybe what I feared at Arkansas that would happen to our team, looking ahead to the SEC championship game, may have had something to do with that. I don't really know. You have to probably ask them about that, but I would expect them to respond in a very positive way to play in this SEC championship game. They still have a chance to win a championship regardless of what happened, last week.
We'll finish up with Tony.
Yeah, Coach. Another thing on Jalen Moody. He's a junior that kind of had to wait his turn. What does that say about his patience? And then how are you able to kind of instill that next man up mentality? We kind of heard Brian and Phil talk about that with Jalen.
Well, I think that, first of all, Jalen Moody's played a lot of good football around here. He's been one of our core special teams players and done a really, really good job in that role. And I think we try to emphasize to players all the time. I think one of the most difficult things is when you're a backup player, you have to prepare for the game as if you're going to play, not knowing if you're going to get an opportunity to play. So it speaks a lot to a player's maturity to be able to do that 10 games into the season. And then just like that, you're in there and called on to do your job. And I think maturity has a lot to do with that. I know we still have some young players on our team that we're trying to get them to understand that concept, that just because they don't think they're going to play doesn't mean they don't need to get ready to play, because they may be one snap away from playing and they need to be able to go out there and execute.
All right, Coach. Thanks for your time.